I think your name is familiar. Lynn. Oh yeah, tied us together. Right. Yes. You said it. I was like, where is that? Yes. Yeah. Lynn has connected us just via email because executive murals, and that's something that we've talked about trying to bring to life downtown. So yes. Well,
yeah, and I have a lot of experience of the chair of the placement. So we kind of fund that and work and activate experience. So however much I
I think we love that. We spent a great deal the last 6 months with both the U of M and Mass Music and figuring out how we activate different spaces down there and what we can do outside of just events to create destinations. So I think it's an ongoing conversation that we all want to keep going.
Didn't we also talk about doing a mural with these dollars too?
We did, and we got a we got a price for a vinyl mural because we hadn't. It's just such a big commitment. So we do have that we could look at.
Does it make sense for people if they have any additional ideas that you give a deadline and say those are ideas that you can do them, but
it seems like we need to flesh these ideas out.
I think today's meeting is focused a lot on the event plan for the year, and then kind of like then the events just run themselves, right? And I think focusing the next meeting on some of this activation that we've been talking about makes sense so that we can start to align on what it is we want to do and where we want to put dollars to, and B, then we can go act on them in November and December when events are happening and things are good, and then we can kick off January that way. Be ahead of yes. Right, strategic planning session. I like that.
It's on the agenda for next week. Next month. Next month.
oh, it's like different equity.
Go.
Okay, well, I do need okay, thank you, Steve. And a second? And Carrie, thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carrie. Okay, current business road construction planning updates.
I told them that I would give a quick update. This is for up at Highway 41 in April Boulevard and we're 10. So that roundabout, as you know, the area at Careeria, to the area Vital has opened on Angler. And so now they're finishing up the roundabout at 41 in Angler. That is going to be done the week of September 29th. And so there'll be some more information coming out about that. There's some discussion about whether they will still do the roundabout at Park Ridge Drive.
Actually, the decision was made yesterday. They are going to
That by the community center.
By the community center. So their intention is to get everything done this summer.
What was the
I think that's, I mean, if you saw Victoria's update yesterday.
Yeah, they postponed.
They postponed. So they're in hell right now, and then they get hell next year too. Yeah. So that feels good that.
Yeah, no, I was really glad to hear that, but it was, I mean, yesterday about 4 o'clock, they made the decision. So.
And really September 29th, I know that's 3 weeks past what they said, but that's for all the rain that we had.
like the 6 feet? How is the pool, man?
Actually, really easily now because 41's closed. They can get people in and out of the site pretty easily. Okay. It's going to start to become a real challenge when they open it up and close down Park Ridge. That's when the challenge. So,
And they encourage parents to let the kids ride the bus instead of dropping them off. If you've ever done drop off, they can take 40 minutes and still do it. Yeah. All we reach to the yeah.
All right.
Any other questions or road construction updates still? Thank you. Thanks, Susan.
All right, let's jump into all of the project updates. So we started the Plaza Series fall during the state fair and Fest. So we obviously knew going in that could impact attendance. Definitely did. So if we're going to continue with this series next summer, we'll want to plot it out on times of the year when there aren't large events happening. Those 2 weekends we averaged about 40 to 50 people kids, I'm not counting parents, just kids that age. No, it wasn't terrible. But like the library typically has 50 people, I think they had shared at their story times, which is the kickoff of this event, and they had 20. So like, you can definitely see that there was some impact. And I'm making the assumption it was the State Fair and Run Fest. I don't know how the rest of the businesses felt on those weekends, but it just seemed quieter down here than it normally did. Last weekend we had about 60 kids. The first weekend too, we had weather. That was the rainy, cold, although it did rain last weekend too. Just keeps raining. So the event, the way we structured the event is 2 to 2:30 is the library hours. And then 2:30 to 5, there's music. We've used kids dance so far, and then we have a musician tomorrow for something a little different. Old National has provided ice cream, and then the History Center is also open. And I'll let you speak to, I won't steal your thunder, but it did seem like it was, I've heard positive feedback from the library, and then I'll turn it over to you and kind of share your experience.
Yeah, we had really good turnout. What we had is antique toys, or toys that your grandparents played with that we don't play.
Put in there and then.
Is this the box that we all?
This is like the 8-ball, you know, the
Magic eight
the
ball.
magic 8-ball. Will you live to be 100? Absolutely certain. You know, anyway, but we had 34 kids in there 2 weeks in a row, which was amazing.
How many did you say?
34.
Anything that broke it?
Right. Well, these are not our dogs. These are meant to be played with. So we were fine, even if they did break your husband.
So all in all, I chalk that up as a success. I think we engaged that area, activated that area. I think there's more that we can do. Obviously, this was a quick last minute thing that we pulled together. From a marketing perspective, like if we're gonna do this event series, this is a decision we'd make in January, the events would be out there. That will help, I think, get those things out there. They'd be like in the Parks and Rec things, like there's all kinds of ways that in the future we can, I think, get better attendance on something like that. And then I think the other piece is how do we draw in other people? So after one of them, we went over to Size and played darts. So I think and we were gonna work with the Legion, but they weren't able to do the bags and stuff. But I think there's other things that we can do to then spread people out after these events and or during these events. So that would be my takeaway for how we improve it. Otherwise, they're very easy to pull together. Especially as much as I don't like the plaza, because it has electrical opportunities.
We're working on that.
It is a great place for a throw-up event like that because there's shade. There's built-in shade because of the buildings. And so you don't have to worry about bringing tents and putting tents up. So it does make it very easy to pop something up. Never again, blow up houses, even if you fix the electric stuff, but music works. I'm surprised we didn't kill a kid that time, but we put that on record. What's the electric update?
So, I don't know, I really want, or I'll take it. With the City Hall Plaza, we know that it's in bad shape or it needs some repairs, so we are actually looking at, some design options to update the plaza next year. We are starting the process now, we're moving through winter, come up with some design options, we're working with HPGI, so Nate plans to come to this board in November to get input. Right now, we're just starting the phase of getting the input from all of the property owners next to the plaza and businesses in the area. And then bring it to council to get input from council as well. So great ideas, electricity is an idea, shade, things that we can do to update the plaza next year. And we were gonna wait until the 6 Square West development got done, but we know.
Would that be a fix for the fountain then, or at least something that?
Yeah,
It's a whole
so-
thing. Okay, well, I worry that somebody's gonna.
Well, I've seen it happen before, it's not pleasant. One of the things that to me really stands about that plaza is there's very little usable usable space. I mean, you look at that fountain, and it takes up half the space, you got stairs going down to the parking lot, and obviously there's elevation issues that exist there. Our goal with this is to make as much of that space usable as possible, and not just a visual element, because again, it's one of those activation spots along the Paseo on this side of 41. So the more we can make it usable to have an infrastructure in place. I mean, I remember one time, say 5K had their event down here, they had GB Layton, they didn't have plug-in, like plug-in as amplifier. I mean, it's the simple stuff, plus just making it a usable area, but the intent would be develop the plans over the fall and winter and actually go into next summer, actually reconstructing that plaza area.
Be nice if you could soften it as well, because it's just fall, kind of.
Yeah, that was, that, you know, the elimination of those trees, you know, really hurt, but I think it gives an opportunity when we reconstruct to kind of think about like more innovative design to create shade and like you said, kind of soften the whole thing, so, yeah.
Yeah, that, because to be fair, if we had 100 plus kids there, in today's world, doesn't really support that.
No, yeah,
So I think
I'm grateful because I kind of press it on to staff to say, you know, do we need to tie this to the remodel of the Action City Hall is the exterior? And I know, you know, all of the projects and, you know, planning that goes into, that, you know, it's a big lift, but I think it's a worthwhile is to move it forward and have it done next summer rather than wait until the interior of this space is renovated, so. I'm grateful that they were willing to take that task on.
I wasn't even aware of it, just great, because it's on the exterior, if you can actually, community space, it's also absolutely big hall, right? So I'll say that all the branding element of what does it look like, and as you think about downtown Minneapolis, Tiger Days, that's what people know pretty much.
Yeah.
Right, it's the beauty plaza effect.
Yep.
And done in a way where it just introduce that gravitational pull because of it, that could completely also amplify and shake out the trying to do as people familiar with how without maintenance.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's part of the branding of the city. It's very, very important. Yeah, it's gonna be, you know, a thoughtful planning process and execution on it. And I'm really excited that we're being able to move forward with it, you know, a little bit quicker than original.
so the ask there is ideas for the November.
Input, yeah, I'd be thinking about those sort of public places like you're talking about, that you've seen out there, things that you guys have thought really works well. And bring those ideas, because that's what we're looking for is to make sure, we want this to be a usable area. I mean, right now, it's like a sidewalk to get into the city hall and library, but that's about it. We want it to be something that's programmable.
And usable every day.
Yeah.
Julie, do we have any update on the pocket park?
We're hoping that is also part of it, when they do the plaza, they'll start looking on that part.
Okay.
As well. And we've talked to our developers. Excited to ask you something.
I'll just segue on this because we're talking about locations downtown, and I'm sure you know what I'm gonna ask next. City Square Park. Because we're talking about Q4 events and we have used it in the past for some of those Q4 events. What does it look and feel like for things like hometown holiday, or even using it use it as a stop and put music there for the Halloween events? How are we feeling about those types of things?
I think it's gonna be done. I mean, the only thing that's really left on the site is the corner fencing. That is getting replaced with the fencing that's sort of decorative along the entire 41 there. They think they finished the concrete this week. Yeah, so I think it's just a corner fencing and some minor landscaping. We can certainly ask a question about when they think it'll actually be usable, but I would think. Well, definitely, but I would think, the policy too.
But, and part of those discussions that we have had was whether or not we do events in the park. Because of the park, are we flexible right now in still using it for some of those things then?
Yeah, I think that's been one of the sort of misnomers of the whole process is that. Like city squares, host events or weddings, things like that, it is not. You know, when we've worked with. The cultural heritage, people, they prefer not to have large community events like River City Days, things like that. But as we worked with River City Days, they sort of felt like they outgrew that space anyway. But I think those things like you're talking about holiday, those types of events, Friday band concerts. I mean, those are the types of events that I would definitely see continuing to be over there.
That is a good update. All right, anything else?
Can I mention
Yes.
an application since we were on the
Yes.
activation plan topic? Jen and I have been meeting with Max. Luckily, I think we're gonna continue to do that throughout the year. He has put a draft together for the actual activation plan. So we are gonna work with him to bring it here, it's gonna go to council in October. For council to look at, and we'll be here as well. So that will be coming maybe in this week. As well.
All right, I'm not gonna do the bullet point in order. Let's talk about events. And then I'll come back to the bags and the ornaments, which are part of a couple of those events. We have, okay. You have a panic attack, you saw how many tabs are open on this thing. All right. Yeah, I know, and I got some closed. If you don't use the little files on your Google, you know, you can make like a Gen file and then close it down, so you don't see the 50 tabs in Gen. All right, so obviously we've talked about Party in the Plaza, that will wrap up tomorrow. We have another event series kicking off if it is approved by council on Monday. And I say event series because it is going to run from 9:20 to 12:06 on Saturdays. And that will be a community event. You saw me air quote that because that is the name of the event. But that is basically our version of the social district. So I think you'll remember at the beginning of the year, we talked about the fact that this did not go through legislature to give a broad ability for anyone to do these. So we run them individually with council's approval. We have a set amount of dates that we can have in a year. So we map those dates out based on the events that we have going in through Q3 and Q4. So 9:20 to 12:06 every Saturday. There will be the ability from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. within the SSD boundaries for individuals to come into restaurants, purchase drinks, leave, and move about that area. This is I think we've done this 2 times before, had really good success with it. So our ask, once council approves it, will be to the businesses that can provide beverages to have to-go containers. Patron was probably, I think, the most successful the last time we did this, because you can think about a pitcher of margaritas. You have a glass there with your chimichanga, and then you get to leave with to-go margaritas and go shopping. So they had really good success with this. But the ask will be that you just have, for the restaurants, a plastic cup that individuals can go out and about with, and then walk and shop. We had good feedback from the businesses too about seeing people out doing this. So we're excited to kind of bring that to life for those Saturdays, to get people in the restaurants and out shopping as well with beverages. Julie had to put up with me asking a lot of pointed questions because you've probably seen marketing from White Bear Lake, Shakopee, Anoka. I feel like there was one more that I sent you, as to why they can just broadly do it. So there were some individuals who were given that ability. And that is something that we're looking to have for next year, if we can get that legislative approval. But this is a nice place for us, I think, to at least play and match up with Shakopee across the river, with the ability for people to do that on the weekends. We'll support it, like we do any event, with marketing and communication and a map, like we've done in the past, so people know where they can go. I tried to stretch the boundaries for Halloween, because we have a lot of Halloween happening kind of in the outskirts, because St. John's does trunk or treats. Didn't ask Pastor if you wanted a bunch of people down there. But we didn't stretch the boundaries, it is truly.
An adult trunk or treat, that could be a marketable idea.
So just the SSD boundaries, we'll publish the map, the dates, so that people know. And definitely, if you need marketing materials, whatever, we'll work with all the restaurants. Usually I send a very specific email out to just the restaurants with how to handle it, what to do. But yeah,
So this is what I was.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to connect the dots.
Connected into that, I was.
This is great though. So it's happening, or it still has to go to city council.
it goes for approval on Monday night.
This coming Monday.
This coming Monday, and then I'll send everything out right after that, so that we're prepped, because obviously the 20th is a fast follow on that.
Okay, so this is just a mass opportunity for even non-food venues to hop on. Andy and I were talking about mocktail, so like, how do you keep the party going, right? After they complete size, they walk block, they need number one, you know, whatever it is. Including extended store hours or having a way to tell people go down to wherever it's going on. With the intention of then being able to expand into next year and have it be a full downtown,
Yes.
embrace all of downtown with or without a cocktail, right? So to that end, is think about all the good and bad, you know, like, with it. Having conversations around, okay, if people are coming into a business, it's not a new business, or it is, they're not necessarily prepared to deal with people like that, or serve themselves, whatever it may be is, and I'm a huge fan of this to happen, is how we either equip the balance of the business, or come together as a group so that, we're helping the feedback back, so that we don't have an episode that watches it and ruins the fun for everybody.
Maybe this is a pre-jump question or whatever, but is it proposed that they have to purchase like a particular cup? And that cup is tied to the business that they purchased it from? I don't, maybe I'm getting too far into
Yeah.
it, so that sounds like more of a.
That's part of the social district, so just to kind of back up. The legislature had, Anoka was the first to get social district through the legislature, then last year it's still on Shakopee. As part of that, they have to come up with a plan and guidelines, they have to have a certain cup that everybody purchases. There's maps, if a business doesn't want somebody to come in with a drink, there's signs that they put up, and there's signs that other businesses put up, if they dump their feet.
Right, like a
Are
red,
welcome.
red or green.
And then there are certain hours and certain.
Yeah.
We had requested to have a social district for the last legislative session. They decided to hold off on any more requests, and then this year, look at whether they want to do it statewide or have. And some other kind of just general guidelines, so that each city doesn't have to pass. So hopefully that will come this legislation session, and then we'll have to work with everybody to develop that guideline, that manual, the cups and these.
I do know I talked to Chaska city manager, and he indicated that so they charge something for those cups.
They do charge.
That they go out and people use those throughout the day. They use those dollars to help fund some of the entertainment that they have down there. I don't know if it fully funds like Rhythm and Rails, because they had that before this social districts, but they do see it as a way to raise revenue, to be able to pay for those events and then have a reason for people to come down you know, have beverages go around to different businesses, things like that, so I think. If the legislature moves forward, I think it'd behoove us to be really strategic about how we structure this so that it can help support the things that will bring people downtown.
One of the things that Delta does is they have permit, phosphorus permits, so that if musicians wanna come, they have designated certain corners where they can come. And so instead of paying a musicians get a permit, play, people are walking along. But that would be something to smoke as well.
That's something the chamber could participate in too, like. You know, because obviously the chamber is a nonprofit, although we serve 4 cities. You know, if we could help produce those cups and then have the revenue, you know, just thinking about.
But the proposition is interesting, so what Target experienced when it started opening Starbucks, which they're the largest franchise in the country, is those cups are everywhere.
Yeah.
Right, so are the cups reusable from Saturday to Saturday? So suddenly now someone's bringing their cup back, and they're buying it, so it's an colorful thing. And then how do you get people to put the cups in the right place? So is it a recycling bin that is branded? It's that the cups are a great thing, and then they can become a thing. Sure. And so I think to your point about what is the strategic outlay, so that in that straight, we've thought through it all. And then we can all be singing the same hymn when it comes to telling people here's how it works. I love the idea of the position. We have the courtyard space between Simmons. Library, the Simmons building, whereas people can literally cut through from Pine Street to Third Street, to draw people down, closer to Second Street. It's just an opportunity to mobilize around it and figure out how to support it, because if you've got 10 Saturdays in a row going through pre-holiday time up until holiday time, it's a massive opportunity. In my,
Okay, yes, I think this is such a great, again, to use the term proof of concept, like we've got 10 Saturdays to try some different things, like maybe we do cups for one Saturday. And just see what that feels like, you know, how we market it, how we get people out and moving with maps and. Like, I think there's a lot of different things we can do.
it could be an opportunity for businesses to opt in to supporting a given Saturday, and their logo is on the cup.
Yeah, I'll give brand.
And then you get a collector's item, 10 awesome cups.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and if you do, maybe you get to enter a lottery or enter a, what it was.
Drawing.
Yeah, drawing.
Or what about a sticker, like, have the same cup, yeah, sticker.
I like that.
There we go. That's more, and that's more sustainable.
Yes.
Sure.
Cause I did see somebody is doing compostable cups. I can send out in the recap, I took screenshots as I saw people's social media, like Anoka and White Bear and all of them. Like what their rules were and what people could or couldn't do, just so we have something to kind of use it as a basis.
And the inbound put little shots in our, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So we're not open on Saturdays, honey.
Oh,
Sorry.
changed. I have to work a Saturday.
Bloody Mary shots.
Stick on the cup thing though, I saw you there.
Yeah, about that, right?
Yeah, it's like a visit sticker, it's supporting that Saturday, and then there's like punch cards or.
What's the map? Yes, where's the boundaries?
First and 61 and.
For this purpose, it's first to 61 kind of Walnut, the SSD is slightly larger than that, going north to 61, but this stays here from the.
So what venues would be serving alcohol within that? It's just not.
There's no.
If Patron open, they could.
Thai restaurant.
I did not see alcohol in there.
State of Mountain Lion, and they are.
Is it possible to? Like, we have an off-sale liquor, so like I'm able to serve in other places. Make something more central, so that way somebody's not gonna walk back to size each time and then deter them. Go-
I'll sign.
Just something, just thinking about trying to make it so it's not a chore to go be social in a social district.
Have one on each corner, right? You can have one where you're at, have one down on
And why
five.
don't you work with us and we'll work with city clerk.
Okay.
Yeah,
Part of
but
the challenge.
if we're not in that social district yet, I know like state statute allows us, but let's talk about. What Julie said was on clerk about.
Especially on the days that we have events, like there are a couple Saturdays, which I mapped this out and I can share this afterwards. There are a couple Saturdays where we don't have things going on. But I think those days that we do have, like, small business Saturday, yes, like, let's, deer weekend, like those big times when people are coming down here, you should definitely.
It's even like business like Shram, more so than social, like having, let them come in if they have the ability to also interact. I mean, like, I don't have to be around the market, but like, definitely think that if I was in the social district and I've got kids and they're with me, and I let my wife, I'm like, I'm gonna go get another drink, and she knows it's gonna take 15 minutes for me to go to a drink and come back, I'm gonna be a lot less likely to go.
Kind of like at River City days where like the Lions had multiple theater spots, right?
Yeah, well, I think it'd be great to get the Lions involved and let them have a station, like maybe you're one location and then maybe the Lions are one, maybe the Rotary is one.
You guys have a pocket.
Yeah, you
And
know,
then you think about what each one offers, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has wine, one has margaritas, one has beer, so you kind of change it up, so it's not everybody's not fighting each other.
Yeah.
right, then you got the higher place, right? That's it, and boom, if you haven't done the chill, laid back guys, right?
All right, so we have a lot of work to do on this. But I think this gives us, well, gives us a good starting point to figure out how to start for next year too. So when we think about events, actually, where's that thing that I made to, like, that all events here? Okay, so there is. You're trying to go slow. So the event for September 20th, Tram is throwing Oktoberfest. Granted, Tram is not at this point a part of the SSD, but there will be an event happening down here on 9/20. The 27th is Guardian Angels Fall Festival. And then we have the 4th through the 18th where there are no events, but we're just titling them Oktoberfest Saturdays. And then we come to our first event, probably our biggest event downtown. Biggest bang for our buck event, I'd say, because we spend about $600 doing trick or treat. And we have massive number of kids down here. The event registration for these is out. I'll send it again. It's just a Google Doc. You just click it and sign up for whatever events you want, and then we'll put you in the marketing. Trick or treat is October 25th. That is 2 to 5. We have November 1st tagged as, holiday shopping. Yeah, this is small business Saturday related. Yeah. November 1st tagged as holiday shopping kickoff. November 8th is the deer opener celebration. November 22nd is a Saturday, but the following Sunday is the tree lighting in Fireman's Park. That is earlier this year, which is awesome, because then the hometown holiday has its own weekend. Small business Saturday is November 29th, and then December 6th is hometown holiday.
The tree.
Yes, still lighting the tree in the park like we did last year.
For Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I did just get a message from Brian that the park's gonna be ready for all the events, so
Perfect.
he said fencing is coming down next week.
Awesome. So from a budget perspective, when we look at spending, trick or treat, we have roughly $1,000 all in, because we do print maps for trick or treat. I'll also do a digital map for that like we did last year, so there's 2 ways that individuals can engage and figure out where they're gonna go to get their treats. St. John's is doing trunk or treat. That also brings a nice bunch of people down here in addition to what we engage with our marketing. Deer opener, we just do marketing for, and we do a map again with locations and what deals they have going on that day. Then we get to Small Business Saturday, same idea. We've got the businesses and the events and or deals that they have going on. And then we run that flyer all the way through for the following week in the hometown holiday. So those are the big things that we have going on. the biggest spend that we have during this time frame are the gift with purchases that we give to the businesses. So last year we did a sticker, an ornament and bags. The feedback we got was positive on the ornament, people love the ornament, positive on the sticker because it's cheap and it's a nice handout thing. And then the feedback on the bags were we need bigger bags. So ornament cost last year was about $2.25 a piece. I'm expecting that to go up a little bit because what hasn't gone up. So I'm just estimating at $2.50 a piece. We did 500 ornaments last year. I think we should do more this year. Because those are a big draw and they're never around. So I think 1,000 is probably the number that we would look at. The bags that we typically get are $2.50 a piece, but they are too small. They're just too small. So the larger bags that we've done periodically in the past are $4.50 a piece, so a bigger spend. But those bags are branded. And I think it makes sense. It gives the business an opportunity for those individuals making really nice purchases to give them a reusable tote branded for downtown on it. I think last year we did 1,000 bags, because that's one of the biggest things that we give out, and I think we stick with 1,000. And what I'll do is, once I have the actual quotes and the images, I'll share those with you all so that we can all approve them and print. Yes,
If we wanted the budgetary constraints, should we prioritize those ornaments first, then whatever? Which one we for sure want to do, what's second, what's third? Because
Yes.
I suspect that we're gonna increase the quantity and we presume the price is gonna go up.
yeah, I mean, so where we'd see the increase from what we have budgeted would be obviously doing more ornaments. And then the bag cost going up significantly, just about double. We have a decent, we have $5,000 bucketed for gift with purchases. So we've got some room there, I think, to make decisions around what we want to do. What I'll do as I start to finalize, and send me your Santa person too. As I start to finalize each of the aspects of the events, I'll have a better budget probably next month for us to look at. Because Hometown Holiday has a lot of moving pieces with it, right? The carriages, which are a huge expense, but a worthwhile expense. We talked about this when we wrapped Hometown Holiday. It's a $3,600 expense to get. We had 2 last year. 3, we had 3. Because we have lines and we can never get through everyone, and everyone wants to do the carriages, and it's a great way to get people out. I wish we could get carriages to go everywhere, but they tour the historic district on that side. So I think we're looking to cut the Santa expense, and then,
I'm seeing that you need, the date is December 6th.
yes.
Okay. And
I think we're gonna do 2 to 5 again. We did that last year and it worked really good for the carriages. It gave them enough time to get through more people.
so Saturday, December 6th, and you wanna hire Santa from 2 to 5.
Yeah.
And it
How much
doesn't
is Santa event?
He was like $800 last year, which is a lot.
Start drawing up your beard.
Right?
Yep, yeah.
I also noticed Santa that would be significant.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I see that Santa, very different. Kids, tell me that they'd be willing to work with the Alliance and maybe help pitch in the choose for that one, you know.
Okay.
That you might want to choose. And he's usually outside. I know we talked about if we wanted to use our space for more people spend the big doors. It's not within our hours, so we said we had a group, but.
Well, and I think that's the other discussion. We've got time to have this. We've talked about having more of that holiday bazaar type feel. And I think that's another thing, like, because the Girl Scouts are a huge draw, but they run their event in the morning. And so it kind of like bookends ours, which is cool, but so I think there's further discussion on how we pull that together. And we switched from reindeer a couple years ago to llamas because they are, again, significantly cheaper.
Well, I just have to share when we first moved here, I said it was really warm on this particular day. They said, you know, they're literally wise men, and they're walking down the street. I didn't know I knew it was. Oh, very.
Cause they still do the live music video, right?
They haven't, but the last time I talked to, the last time I talked to them, they wanted to get involved in this again. Because that was a really cool thing, as we ended hometown holiday, St. John's had their live nativity walk up and they were part of things in the party. So I'm hoping that, because they are trying to get more involved, I'm hoping we can do that, because that was a really cool, just add-on that didn't cost us anything, and it made the event a little bit more.
Kelsey, who's your option?
Just saying, you need to use
Oh,
our.
who is it?
space.
No,
Oh,
the same.
Efforts husband, Bob. He always did it for us for years, because we used to make little ornaments, like we take pictures and make ornaments.
I don't
We just
think.
have a
it's
general-
right,
You only have Bob's that are Santa.
So did Bob.
It's always Santa Bob.
Do you think he would do it on that?
I'd have to ask, but I know that, you know, I think he enjoyed, he still does it like individually, like he'll walk through people's yards and stuff.
So I don't think I can. My two options. I don't know.
Yeah, I can ask for sure.
One of my goals was to hire Santa, so to save the money, I could always have a Santa. If we still think about moving things around, it could be not in the same area, but within the district, it could be a Santa in a different area, or just like always, we always line the date up, same day.
And even if we did it, even if we did Santa's on different dates too, I think part of what I thought was cool about the big weekend that we had is the community center had their Santa on Friday nights. We had Santa on Saturdays, and then the tree lighting in Fireman's Park had a Santa on Sundays, because people are busy, like there's basketball going on, and trying to get to a Santa can be like a scheduling nightmare. So like if we did a Santa, what's before that, like Small Business Saturday at size, like that's something you could put in the flyer, and that's another reason to get people down here. So definitely think about it that way too.
I was gonna say, it might be kind of neat to have a schedule where Santa might be,
Sam's schedule.
like a weird Santa, and kind of keep them out of the park, because I think the carriage rides already are drawn up to be out in the park, but having your Santa floating from business to business that's participating would be a really great draw for patrons to come in and want to see if they can spot Santa in that particular establishment.
Yes, I know my kids love that, the tracker, that, you know, what.
Oh.
You know, when you like.
And just make them wear an air tag for the day.
Well, I mean,
That's so man, but.
the digital maps that we used last year for these events, they made a lot of enhancements, and there is like a scavenger hunt feature now. So there could be some cool things we could do that day. We didn't put Santa in the park, and we had him moving through businesses, and he stayed in the business for a half an hour, and there was a Santa scheduled, and you could track him using that map, like,
Give them some little candy cane to hand out.
yeah, like we could do some cool stuff.
Jen, how many spots do you have placed there?
So that's a great question.
Sarah, you would probably use bags with.
Mhm.
And I think Lisa, but I'm just thinking how many
So here's what I
retail
typically do.
spots, I just think 1,000.
We put the registration out there, and however many businesses sign up, I divide them, and then I usually keep a stack back, because we have times where we need them for like the visits that are happening. Or we wanna do we wanna do a pop-up event and we need bags for things, so I usually keep a little bit back. Right now we have no bags, and so, yeah, that's sometimes a problem. So it's dependent on the number of businesses that register. I think last year I made 15 different packages for the businesses for that Small Business Saturday. So that means we have 15 different businesses involved. What my challenge would be that no matter your business type, get involved, get on the map, have these things to give out. It might not mean that I may give you more bags than I would give Carrie. Because like but you also sell products too, so, but that's how I think about it, like. But yes, I would challenge every business out there to get on the map, any of these maps, like it is a piece of paper and an online marketing that shows your business and what you have going on, and it's free to you, basically.
Jen, is Kayla talking to us? You ever?
No.
Okay,
She's multitasking.
all right. Supposed to be heard.
All right, any questions on events? There'll continue to be, I think, a discussion around how we activate things like the community event and what's happening with each one individually.
On the hunting opener, we're doing a first bingo. And then a lot of feedback I get from parents is that they don't go out because they can't find a babysitter. I'm lucky enough that my daughters dance, so we've got a bunch of older girls that we know, so going through the thought process of trying to find a way to link babysitters with families that need it. And I think some sort of community event where, you know, the people that want to be babysitters can volunteer and then parents can drop kids off. And then as they build a relationship with these kids, when the mom comes to pick them back up, they've got a business card. Hey, I really like playing with Sophie. If you're looking for a babysitter, here's a card. To try and make that, bridge that connection, because I mean, especially in today's world, going up and asking somebody to go and babysit your kids is like the creepiest thing anybody could ever do.
Yeah.
And that's a really hard thing to find. So I think as a community build something which is meant for that reason, it would make it a lot more comfortable and then would bridge a gap that a lot of parents have.
So
They could go to the community market every Thursday for 17 weeks and build relationships.
Yeah, that's why I take my kids to size.
I don't mind the kids being there, I just feel that. Very much like,
After
hey,
their third grade, it's like.
you can come out and say, you don't have a babies.
All right,
Parks and Rec
let's-
also has a babysitting training class, so maybe that would be an opportunity to either get some babysitters from that, to promote or help train people that want to be babysitters, give them some resources.
Absolutely.
all right, I'm gonna talk a little bit about social media quickly, because again, we've just got a couple weeks worth of data in. We sent out the September community newsletter. We had 838 sent, 468 opens, which is a 59.2% open rate, which is really good. So again, I would challenge the businesses. I had one reach out this month. That is a newsletter that you can include anything happening in your business in. Right now, I'm taking some pieces of Julie's newsletter because it applies to downtown and adding it in there. Like if your video series is a downtown business, it's in there. We had Raven and Rose as the focal business in there because they just opened. And then we can take any content that you have and put it in that newsletter. So that just send it to my email and I'll include it in there. My goal is typically to get it out the first week of the month. Sometimes I push that a little bit if things are going, if it's like a heavy first week of the month. With school going back, I pushed it and sent it this week because that felt like I might not get as many opens because that's busy week. But we're getting a good open rate and then we're also getting people clicking through. So you can include links in there to your website or to things that you have so people can click through into that. Right now, the only click through that I have in there is just signing up for the newsletter or sharing the newsletter. And that's happening. We're getting a 0.4% click rate, which is not huge, but also if you're getting the newsletter, you're not signing up for it. So the only option is to share it. From a social media perspective, I'm just going to walk you through the Facebook info, not the Instagram. Facebook is our bigger social platform. And you'll remember the reason that we had this whole conversation is because we were downtrending in social media, just sharing posts and just general posts weren't getting us, it just wasn't working. So yeah, the engagement, that's the word. So we're doing a lot more carousels and videos. What we've done with Orange Ball is they have created the brand guidelines like we talked about. So, and I'll talk a little bit about our intern in a second, so that when we have that intern who's going to supplement what Orange Ball is doing, they have a Dropbox with all of our images, all of our logos. They have brand guidelines about what font to use, about how things are structured, what colors should be used. So it's a very plug and play thing. We'll have right now, I'm the part of the 15-minute a month meeting. And I also approve all of the social going out there. So they create it, share it with me, and then I approve it, and then it's scheduled to post. It's been pretty seamless so far. And in the couple weeks we've been doing this, our views are up 8,508%. I didn't even know you could have a percentage like that. We had 41,749 views in the 2.5 weeks that this has been happening. So that's a solid increase. In addition to that, people are clicking through the links that were embedded in these posts. 83% of individuals that came into one of these things clicked through into something. So I don't want to say that it's working, but it feels like we are pointed in the right direction.
I think that's fair, right?
And this is just, they were doing, remember, they're doing 8 posts a week. 8 posts a week? No, yes. I know, right? So here, so this, let me just share this. Where's my- I really struggle when I don't have my big monitor, I really struggle. Here. It has stopped. Okay, that's. Hold on, that out of the way. Oh, I can't make my screen big again. All right, hold on. These are sneak peeks too, you're gonna see. So these are our September social posts. That is super tiny, isn't it? Well, this post went out on September 2nd, and this was the mayor spotlight at Hayloft Studios. One thing I think I might do is share the plan out to the businesses, that way they know when a post is coming up. What I told Orange Ball to do up to this point is to watch the business's social media. And if they're seeing events happening, to then find a way to spotlight that individual, but also to mix it up. So we don't want size to be on every weekly post, like we've got a lot of businesses out there. I also challenge them to find ways to represent the service businesses out there as well. So again, that we're getting everybody involved in this piece. This was a farmer's market highlight. So a big focus for what we're doing, this was a reel, which we talked about, we haven't been able to do before. This was a reel for the farmer's market. A lot of this focus is on the events down here. This was this was a static that we just did for Latin Music and Food Fest, which is tonight. This was a local, so we've got a couple of local spotlights with Lynn in there for senior photos and fall family photos. We had a reminder, day of reminder for Latin Fest. This is the post for the 19th. This is size, focusing on the new menu options. So they saw your posts on what's happening there. Then we're gonna have we'll have the seasonal produce at the farmer's market, so another event post. A recap of Latin, and then just a slideshow of scenic things happening in downtown. So that's the September plan. We'll do the same for October, and I'll try and share out what's happening. That way you'll know when your posts are happening so that you can go out there and engage with them too. So where we are with the intern, I've had a lot of applicants and done a lot of interviews. I've interviewed people because I haven't had anybody in the general area, so I've interviewed a lot of people that are in like the Minneapolis area that are going to like St. Thomas and that kind of stuff. And I have not moved on anyone because I really want them to be here. I know you can do the job not being here, especially when you've got a Dropbox full of content that Orange Ball has put together. But I think in order for this to continue to work, it's gotta be local content. Like they have to be here. They have to understand what's happening downtown. So I'm still working on that. So if you know anyone, and they do not have to be going into marketing or wanting to do this as a full-time career, but it's a great way to get some experience working with our organization and Orange Ball, who's a pretty big deal in their space too. And just understanding business relationships and communication and managing deadlines and prioritizing. So if you know anyone in this area, let me know.
Did you connect with my recruiter?
So I tried that and I couldn't get a hold of anyone there, and I ended up using their handshakes, and that's how I've been interviewing people. Handshake's a great tool, but it doesn't allow you, even though in my post it says you must live in Chaska. I have 182 people that have applied, some of them live in New Mexico, Massachusetts, like.
Jen, did you connect with the referral ID?
No, because didn't you say she didn't live here?
But she's from here and has connections back.
Would she be able to come, like, be here? Cause that's the other thing, like, I want them, like, when we do hometown holiday,
I can't answer that.
okay, I want them here.
But reach out to her.
Okay. It is a paid internship. We talked about maybe $20 to $25 a post. That range is dependent on kind of their experience and how easy they can slide in without the coaching aspect. I mean, scheduling on Facebook is not a difficult thing. If I can figure it out at 50, like anybody can figure it out. That's younger than me. But yes, it is paid.
Do you connect with Crown?
Yes, I couldn't find,
This.
somebody gave me the contact that they had used. Oh, Orange Ball did, because Orange Ball used them. And that contact was no longer there. So then I just went into their page of how to find people, and that's using Handshake, which again, great tool, but didn't give me many Chaska.
Is there a way to see that, what you're like, the post for what you're looking for?
Yes. I can share that.
Okay.
Yes. All right, let me get back to the agenda. We are running out of time, aren't we?
Yes.
We did social, we did the newsletter, we did the community events, done.
Hey.
Yeah,
Jen, good, you guys are next. You have a.
go ahead. A plug and appeal downtown events, Saturday, September 27th, it's the Garden Nature's Festival. 3 ways to participate and support. The fastest, most direct, I do have raffle tickets here. Many of you have already supported that. The other way is gift baskets, and again, many of you I see or I've talked to and played to our silent auction with gift baskets. And then we'd love to have you present and engaged in the event. I think Taylor, you've been there last year. It's children friendly. There's a car show, kiddo games, music, authentic food, Mexican, American, fresh cut fries, burgers. Bingo. Yep.
Times again, Steve, that day.
I think the best is to come at noon.
Okay.
Starts with the car show and then into the evening. Again, I have raffle tickets at the Fast Direct way. If you can't make it, I have those after, and then gift baskets. Make it mutually beneficial, drive traffic to your store. And then help us, talk to Andy at Red Bench, various businesses around town for that, and then please come, present, engage, enjoy. There's adult beverages, children beverages, food, music.
There is a lot of movement that day down Second and up where you guys are, like just people walking because you can't, the car show's there, so you can't park, so you're walking that way. There's a lot happening in that quadrant that morning, just people out and about.
Well, the other big event coming up is Chaska Music Fest, week from Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah, and we have raffle tickets. So if you're really into raffles, or just want to support this organization, that's Rotary, and they're using that money to support Miracle League. It's being built. They'll probably start that summer.
Where's that held at?
In the fireman's department.
And then the music fest tonight.
That's,
Right,
yeah,
So there's things downtown.
lots going on.
Yeah, this is definitely event season between what Parks and Rec puts on and what we have going. There's typically something happening every weekend.
We should touch on.
Yes, let's do that.
Once that, I know, Michaela usually does that, so.
I think really we've touched on a lot of things. I think one thing, and maybe staff in the room or maybe Taylor can talk more about this, but a big thing coming up next week is the bonding bill tour will be coming back to Chaska for City Square West. I don't think, did you guys touch on that yet? No? Okay. So that's very exciting to look at funding for City Square West and continuing that. Which would be huge. It kind of would help us finish out that west side of Chaska. So next Wednesday evening, I don't know, Taylor or Steph, if you want to talk more about, there's opportunity for people to show up and support. I know I'm planning to be there, but I missed the last council meeting, so they maybe have a little bit more information to share. So if you one of you want to take that. Anything?
Yeah, so the tour, the bus is set to stop here. This is the Senate's Capital Investment Committee, 6:40 p.m. They're gonna be here, it's a 20-minute stop, so it's gonna go very quickly, so it's not a huge time commitment. But I think as business owners and community members, if you guys have the opportunity to be there, it will look really good to have that community physical presence and support. They're gonna stop, we're gonna talk about the project, we're gonna do a quick tour around that block, and then they get on the bus and they go. So, being able to kind of walk alongside in that tour and be able to kind of engage with some of the senators will be really, really crucial to kind of show that community support for City Square West.
That's the 17th. You said
That is the, yeah,
17th.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we're telling people to arrive around 6:30. And
Yep.
they're asking for an RSVP in case they're late, we can communicate out what time change.
It's been two
Where's
years
the-
since the last time.
Where's the meeting point?
So this is the first time that the Senate has been here, the House Committee has been here.
Yes.
Different
Yeah.
times. I don't know if you want me to touch on what we learned, because is it City Square West or is it the utility?
City Square West, or both of them.
Yeah, so great
So where's
news.
the initial meeting point? Like,
Oh, Mitchell,
front-
the plaza, right here by the, like by the library, kind of right over here by the. Yeah, that's usually where we start everything, so come down here. Great news, we also made the house tour. So we will also do have the house, capital investment committee coming here as well, and that date is in October. And it's earlier in the day.
So it's middle afternoon, somewhere between 2 and 3:30.
Yes.
Yeah, to define it.
Yep, so, and the same thing, same procedure. Be really quick, tour, City Square West, talk about the highlights of it, again. Just would be so great to have that sort of community support come out, and engage with our legislature to kind of.
First one, Wednesday, September 17th at 6:40.
Yep.
Meet in the plaza.
Okay, let's keep moving, because we have four more updates to do here, we're out of time, Chamber?
Yeah, we got our golf classic next Tuesday at Dahlgren. I think we're one team short of selling out for the 3rd year in a row. So that's a great event. Look out, we got quite a few ribbon cuttings downtown. We just did one in Southern Social. We've got one with Chaska Commons coming up, and the Chaska Yard as well in October. So yeah, please check out our calendars, let us know.
Thank you for mentioning the Chaska Yards. I have a
Yep.
PDF somewhere. Okay, keep going. Okay.
Well, okay, let's see, Lisa, any historical society?
Yes, tomorrow at 1:30 in the afternoon, there's gonna be a report from the archaeological dig that happened between Second and Third Streets. On the S property, if you're familiar with that. Anyway, the results will be 1:30. We're gonna hold it at the Legion in the Rose Room because we don't have enough room in our building. But that's happening and that's free. And, tomorrow.
The creepy doll will be there.
I have no idea. Anyway, 1:30 PM. In the Rose Room at the Legion. And then next Tuesday, I mentioned this to some of you already, but at 2:00 PM, we're gonna be meeting at the History Center because I really think it's important that we have. Some kind of a pamphlet rather than just a website, but a pamphlet. This is one that we did with the city before. That goes over the maintenance requirements for historic buildings in Chaska, but this pamphlet would be, the Historical Society and city resources, as well as the Downtown Business Alliance resources to tie into the historicity of your business. Anyway, so I would love to have you show up. It would be 2 PM in History Center for that. And I'd just love to get ideas about what you as business owners would need, what kinds of things you'd be looking for that we could help provide. And then lastly, the Huntington History Tours are coming up and on those Saturday nights, if that social district works out, we could have people going around downtown, learning about strange things happening and why it might be happening in those buildings based on the history. Anyway, October 3rd and 4th, 10th and 11th, 17th and 18th, so that Friday and Saturday nights, the first 3 weekends in October. 6:30 and 7 PM at night, lasts about an hour, hour and a half. Please let people know about it. The registration's on our website, chaskahistory.org. Was that quick enough?
Thank you.
I tried to be.
Okay, so somebody mentioned Chaska Yards, the grand opening of it and the ribbon cutting tours and refreshments will be Thursday, October 2nd. From 11 to 12:30 with the ribbon cutting at 11:30. Chaska advises at 211 North Walnut Street, so you know that's the development over there that the CDA has been working on. I think it's the CDA, right?
Yeah.
Look at me, memories.
Yeah.
And it's finally here, and it looks amazing.
And we don't have anybody on from the library. So I think that's it.
Yeah, Dan, can I just,
Yes.
two more quick updates?
Yeah.
One, want to give kudos to Krista for her newsletter that went out. It's beautiful. So, just you wanted to say something?
Yeah, so Chaska today, it has, the outside is city related news, kind of in more newspaper style to help those that are looking for newspaper type content. Inside is more of a newsletter, and you can, we have some extra copies. Inside is more of a newsletter for park and rec related things. Yeah, so, and you mail it out. We mail it out every other month. Next one will come out probably mid-late October.
That's something that we could have, like,
Yeah,
little
yeah,
stuff.
I'll chat with Richard.
Please get them kind of, yeah.
Yeah. And then quickly, just, we are currently working with Explore Minnesota to make Chaska film ready. And what that means, they are currently working with a production company that wants to do a film a movie within Chaska. If we become film ready, it's just kind of an advertisement to production companies out there that this is the place you can come and film. As part of that, we're creating a permit, and then we're sending them pictures of places that could be filmed. So if any of your businesses or buildings are interested in being filmed at some point, talk to me, you can get some pictures taken of your location. If a production company is interested, they contact directly and work directly with you. But it's something that we're trying to get done this year, within this year and next year, get all these pictures taken, get the advertising up with it, this is the place that.
Awesome. Can you let me know when you have that? Cause I'd be bad for people contact us.
Yeah, absolutely. My homework help.
No, but then, yes.
That's our goal.
Yeah, great. All right, well, let's wrap it up then. Thank you, everyone. We did covered a lot of ground today, and
Yeah,
so,
wow.
and we do have a Chaska 100 meeting starting right after this. We'll give it a break for a couple minutes here, and thank you, everyone.